So welcome, Obai Othman,
Recording in progress.
to the Sheesby podcast.
Yeah, I'm with you now.
For this conversation, I want like the overarching theme to kind of be, this is from your YouTube description, so your words, not mine, how you managed to transform yourself from weak, depressed, overweight, and terribly stuck in life to a skillful, joyful, healthy, and genuinely happy and excited person. So that's quite the transformation. So I think
Yeah, it is.
that should be able to help a lot of people, because I feel a lot of people are, well, everyone struggles with stuff, obviously, but yes, hopefully your experience can help them. So
I hope so. This is the whole reason I'm doing this content creation journey.
yeah,
Well, first of all, I would like to say it's very nice to finally meet you. I've been checking out some of your content. You have so many different platforms. How many platforms do you have? You have, I think, 2 or 3 YouTube channels and a podcast and some cool things.
yeah. So, oh, I see, my Instagram. Yeah, okay. So I have the podcast, which is on like Spotify and Apple and everything, so people can go and check that out, rate it. It's also on YouTube. And then I also have a fitness YouTube channel, which is like fitness and health. And then I also,
Yeah, I just watched your latest video on the fitness channel when you took a photo of yourself every day for a year.
yeah,
That was a very cool video. So congratulations on the best year of your life yet.
thank you.
And I hope this is only the start. And I really believe you will reach high and achieve great things.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and then I
Uh,
also have I used to do like I had an investing, like kind of finance Instagram page, which was kind of teaching people my age about money, because when I got into self-improvement, I was like learning about these new things about money, and I was like, oh damn, they don't teach this at school. So, but I don't currently do that anymore. But that is still on my Instagram. So yeah, I guess I did have that as well.
When you say my age, can I ask how old are you?
I'm currently 17, but I think I started that when I was 15.
You're only 17?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I actually envy young people like yourself who have their life and priorities sorted out from a very young stage. That's very rare, especially these days. I think you're in the right track from a very early age, and this is one of my regrets. It's I wish I know and what I know now, like 10, 15 years earlier. So 17, and you have all these concepts already absorbed in your mind, and you're doing all these great things. Congratulations.
I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I kind of feel like I gotta really make the most of this, because I know a lot of people don't find out until later.
Before we start, I have to make a warning here.
Okay.
I'm going to butcher the English language today in this podcast. So if that triggers anyone listening, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna do my best.
You're doing fine so far. I think
Okay,
your
that's
English
good.
seems good from your videos, man, to be honest.
Well, in the videos, you can always reshoot
Yeah.
the sentences you messed up, but here I'm kind of nervous about my language.
So, let's get into it. So, was it, I think you said in one of your videos it was like your 30th birthday, and you kind of had this like big, was it this like a big moment of realization, like, damn, my life isn't really going how I want it to? Was it literally a moment, or was it like over time you kind of were just kind of like, maybe I should do something, and then you were like, fine, let's sort this out, like
Well,
realization?
actually, it was a moment of realization when I mentioned that at work in my YouTube video, but that realization didn't actually change a lot in my mind, in my life. Uh, like turning 30 gave me my first initial mindset shift, but it wasn't really anything. It was exactly the story I mentioned in my YouTube channel. I had a couple of weeks left before I became 30 years old. And the only thing I could think about at that time is how much of a disappointment my life has become. I usually get depressed around my birthdays, around big numbers that happens, like the beginning of the year. These things I reflect on my life and I think of all my failures. Let's to say, so it was like this is absolutely not the life I imagined I will be living when I turn 30. And I was, of course, blaming everything and everybody for my failures. If I was born in a different country, I would be more successful. If my family had more money, if these things happen, and if that things didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. It was a long list of excuses.
I mean,
And
I think all of the things you said there, like, yes, they would probably have helped you, but this is what I say to like my brother quite a lot. Like, it's basically never going to be perfect. Like you're always going to want something else. Even if you have everything, you're like, oh, I wish I had like a better camera. Wish I had this. Wish I had that.
of course, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah, it might be unfair, but like it's what you've got, and you've got to work with that. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm not going to do anything because I don't have all of the privileges.
So
Can,
I was basically, I think I was living in denial that anything is my responsibility. And I think I was also a typical case for the victim mentality that people talks about
yeah.
all the time. So that moment at work, when I decided to start looking for help through a simple Google search, I really believe that was the very first teeny tiny step in the right direction for me finally, after I wasted like 10, 20, 30 years of my life.
So you think?
But it,
Yeah, sorry.
mm,
I think you think that the main thing that anyone who might be feeling stuck is they need to like first take like responsibility and actually realize that they have the power to change their situation.
yes, that's exactly what will help anyone achieve anything in life is taking responsibility of your own situation and your own success and failures at the same time. And stop blaming anything or anyone for any type of situation you find yourself in. Then at that time, when you do that, you realize that you have some power, you have some say of how your life goes and what's gonna happen to you in a year or more than that.
Yeah, I think I left a comment on your video, and it's from this Navy SEAL commander Jocko Willink, and he's saying how he talks about extreme ownership. It's very good. There's a TED talk on it, which you can find if you search Jocko Willink TED talk. It should come up, and how he was in like I think it was Iraq, and there was a shooting. Like they shot their own people by accident because there wasn't clear communication, and he like was saying how he took like full responsibility for basically everything. He calls it extreme ownership. He has a book as well. I haven't read it though, but it sounds very similar to that. It's like everything is like there is a little bit of luck, but most of your life is down to what you've done. And you need to kind of accept that, and then you can actually start to make the changes. Because if you think it's all just luck, then you're not even going to try.
Yes, exactly. I agree on the luck and the destiny. People always talk about like, oh, this is my destiny. It's already pre-written or prejudged for me, but that's not really true. Maybe there is some sort of destiny, but when you like, for example, when you eat junk food and you don't exercise, and when you hit 40 years old, you get a heart attack. That was not destined to you. You did that yourself.
Yeah,
So yes, there is some part of it destiny or luck or coincidence or meant to be or all these vague concepts, but most of it it's in your hand and it's your own responsibility because it's your life at the end.
I
You
think
are a partner of making your life the way it is.
I think another thing that doesn't really help is people label themselves a lot. They kind of get attached to their identity, like, oh, I'm lazy, I don't know, tired all the time, I'm depressed, I'm not disciplined, and then they kind of tell themselves these things, and they're like, oh, if only I was like that person who was like got the discipline to like go and exercise. It was like, well, you can. They're not superhero, like, but if you constantly have that going around in your head, and I know it's hard because obviously like, especially if you've been doing it for a while, like, you feel like you don't have that much control, but I don't think those labels help anyone. It's like when they say to people when they're trying to quit smoking, one of the advice they give people is go and tell people you know that you quit, because then you don't say I'm trying to quit. You just say I don't smoke anymore, because then you've got rid of the label, and then you also have that peer pressure, accountability from other people, because you don't want to let them down as well.
Yeah, that's very true. I read somewhere someone said the story you tell yourself is the most important dialogue that will control your life. Whatever people tells you, like if people tells you you're lazy or you're smart, it doesn't really matter. What you tell yourself internally in the dialogue that's happening all the time in your head, this is what's gonna influence your actions in life, not other people's judgment, not other people's opinions of you. Your own opinion, it what really matters.
100%.
And I kind of saw that in my own journey because I had all these labels like I'm not good in math, I'm not good in direction, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm too old to do this, I'm too old to do that.
Yeah.
But then I tried a couple of things and I succeeded. Uh, and after that, I started doing more things, and I was succeeding on those things just because I succeeded the first one. Like I did an obstacle race called Spartan,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like 33, and I always watched this race on YouTube, and I used to think to myself, oh, if only I started training when I was 15, I would be able to do all these cool obstacles and climbing the rope and jumping on the monkey bars. So in my head, it was already determined that I cannot do that.
Yeah.
So one friend dared me to do the race, and he actually paid for the ticket. He said, if you do the race, uh, it's my gift for you. If you quit or you backed off that race, then you have to pay me back. So I did the race and I finished it till the end. And after that, my mentality changed. Like, oh, I can do this. Okay, let me do the next level of the race. And I succeeded in that one. Let me do the next level. And then now it became sort of a annual thing. I always do Spartan races. Yes,
Momentum.
my knees hurt. Yes, like I'm not as good as so many other people, but I did some things that 5, 6 years ago I would, if you told me I will be finishing a Spartan race, I would tell you no, no, that was in the past. This train has took off a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it's really important with momentum. There's a really great. Have you heard of Akira the Don?
No, not really.
He was on the podcast the other day, but it's like he takes clips from like motivational music kind of and and there's really good
Oh yeah,
ones.
the musician guy. Yes, yeah, I kind of saw some of
Mhm.
the podcast. The musician guy with the cool haircut.
Yeah. He there's a song with Joe Rogan that he made, and it's called "Do Something," and it really reminds me of that. And it's like you don't have to run ultra marathons, you don't have to do anything crazy, but you just have to do something because that momentum. Because then you set a little goal, you hit it, it gives you that like belief in yourself and the motivation to go for another one. Then you get bigger and bigger. Whereas I think some people maybe they say they start, I don't know, they're like really overweight and then they just set like a really high goal and then they don't achieve it and they just feel bad and then they don't believe in themselves. They're like, oh, I don't achieve my goals, I can't do what I promised myself. Oh, frozen again. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, I'll just keep talking. Oh, you still
You
there?
before, or if it is my connection. Yeah, I can hear you, but it's coming and going. Did this usually happens to you? Or if is it
No,
my?
I think it's you. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
probably.
if you set a really big goal, then they tell themselves, I don't like. They don't think they can keep promises to themselves, and they have like a bad self-image, and then it just kind of it's a bad cycle. So, you were saying how you were getting near 30, and you were like, this isn't how you planned your life to be. So I'm just wondering, like, what kind of goals, if you don't mind sharing, were you like planning on hitting before then?
Uh, okay. So before I hit 30, what kind of goals that I had before?
Yeah, that you wanted to have reached by then.
Well, actually, my goals back then, I believe they were not really my goals. It was simply what everybody else was chasing. So I thought if I have these things, which everybody else wants,
Mm.
then I will be happy. Which is they were like the standard modern society indicators for success.
Mm.
A job that pays you a lot of money, a very nice car, a big house, getting married, having kids. And these things, again, are not bad goals to have if they were truly what you wanted from your life. However, for me now, I know I don't really care about any of that. And most of these things, if I did have them by now, it will be for all the wrong reasons. And they will only add to my misery, not to my happiness. So that's the reason I think I didn't achieve any of these things because I didn't really wanted them enough in the
Mm.
first place. So I didn't put any true effort into making them my reality.
Okay. Yeah. And how was your kind of, I guess, relationship with happiness changed? You say those things wouldn't make you happy. Do you have some idea of what does make you happy now?
Actually, I do, but I'm still discovering this part. Before, I thought happiness comes with material things.
Mm.
Uh, Now, happiness comes first from knowing who you are, what influence your emotions in a good way or a bad way, and what you really wanted from life. And you only can do that by trying things, trying this thing, trying that thing, and not just take what other people say this is good for you. Like they will say a good job with good money will make you happy. Okay, I had the job and I had some good money, but it didn't really make me feel happy about myself. But sometimes just doing something that I genuinely like meditation or doing 15 minutes of yoga will give me more happiness in my heart than one of the big things that you will have, material things, for some time, then the value of that things will go away. So one of the things that has changed in me that I became a minimalist after watching Matt Divala
Yeah.
documentary about minimalism, and that gave me so much happiness in my life. I would never think having less things will make me happy. I always thought having more and more of these things will make me more happy. So I kept acquiring things and trying to obtain this or that. But I discovered that no, having less clothes, having less clutter, having less everything actually makes me happy. You can have 10 shoes, or you can have your one favorite shoe, and you will enjoy that one more.
Yeah. It's making me think of some things Naval Ravikant says. He says how the quality of your life is basically sit in a room alone and see how you feel, um, and not going through all this like stuff, like how you actually are, like your peace of mind, even when you have nothing like really physical. And then the other quote is something like, the man who controls his like expenses or like doesn't have that many needs like knows a freedom that not many people do. Because if you think you need all this stuff to be happy, you're always constantly like buying new things, like the newest phone, the newest shoes, or whatever it is, and you feel you kind of need that to be happy. Whereas I think minimalism is good, but then it's also like being frugal. And I think people often think being frugal is like you just don't spend money, but it's more like you only focus on things that are like really important to you. So like you're saying, you can have like your favorite shoe, and you're going to enjoy that more because you actually care about that. You don't feel the pressure to buy a bunch of other things that you don't need or want.
Actually, my spending habits are almost the same. I didn't spend less money. I only concentrated on the things that I think they matter. Like
Hmm.
instead of buying, again with the shoes example, instead of buying 10 different, not so high quality shoes, I will save and I will buy just one very good shoes that I will enjoy.
Mm.
Someone said it's about what you enjoy, not what you have, what brings you happiness, and I really believe that. Another thing is just chasing external factors of happiness didn't really work with me. Some people, yes, they do get happy by external things, but for me, the things that brings me true happiness is things that comes from the inside. I would sit with someone like a friend for 5 minutes, and I would talk with him, and he will have a breakthrough, or I would tell him something that will really matter to him, and it will cheer him up. This will give me happiness for the rest of the day, or for 2 3 days
Mm.
in advance. So much more than going and eating in a fancy restaurant. Yeah, that will be a fun, exciting experience for an hour. Then it will fade.
Mm. Yeah.
So happiness is there. Happiness is might come from the external things and might come from the internal things, but I find it that real happiness comes from inside, not from any external things that you can buy or you can acquire in life.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I feel like it also depends what you mean by happiness, because I feel like some people think pleasure is happiness, and I don't really think that's true. Because, like you're saying, you'll be happy for like a day or more if you've like something internal. I think like things you buy, yeah, they might make you happy for a short period, but it is definitely going to be shorter. Whereas like true like contentment and like peace in like everything you do, that has to come from within, I think.
Yeah, true. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just wondering, like, how do you think you kind of got to the position? I'm going to quote you again. You're going to regret writing this YouTube description. Weak, depressed, overweight, and terribly stuck in life. Like, how do you think you kind of got to that position? Because you sound like you were young and you had like a lot of, I don't know, aspirations, I guess, to get all this stuff. And then, what do you think happened?
Your questions are really deep, man.
That's where the good stuff is, though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think if you looked at me back then from the outside, you won't probably notice anything strange or obvious. You won't say this person is depressed or unhappy. I was living a normal life, going to my job, meeting my friends, doing family stuff, and trying to obtain more and more of the things that I thought should bring happiness. But deep inside, I had no joy doing any of these things, and everything felt meaningless and pointless to me. And I think that happened little by little. A small disappointment here, a little failure there, having lots of expectations and dreams, but not really willing to actually do the necessary work towards meeting these expectations or achieving these dreams. I became overweight and sick most of the time. I used to get sick at least once every month.
Do you think this
Like I would
was
go to.
maybe because you were working lots and you were kind of so focused on that kind of aspect, your health kind of slipped a bit. You weren't too focused on your
Yeah,
diet and stuff.
exactly. My health went downhill one burger at a time. It wasn't like a dramatic change. I was healthy when I was in the early 20s, but my main diet is junk food, pizzas, burgers, fast food. So it was a step by step going downward.
Mm.
But the most important reason I think that led me to this situation is not really knowing who I am and what truly matters to me. I think once you understand your own thoughts and emotions and deciding on what path you want for yourself, or at least what type of a person you want to become, this will become where life becomes interesting. And only then you can move forward in your journey. But before that, before in the back, in the olden days, let's say, I didn't really know or care who I am. I thought like I'm just a person like everybody else, and we all doing the same things together. So I didn't care about understanding what matters to me. And this is what led me to be overweight, sick most of the time, depressed, having anger issues, having so many psychiatrist
Mm.
insecurities and problems that they it stopped me from doing anything productive at the time.
So you think it kind of stemmed from the fact that you didn't really like what you were doing? You didn't really feel purpose. You were just kind of doing what you thought other people kind of expected you to do instead of living like what
Exactly.
you
I
wanted.
was only doing what other people expected me to do, and I expected that to make me happy and to make me motivated,
I, s-
which will never happen in that case.
yeah, I see that a lot. It's like a common theme about people who get into like self improvement. I know Jamie Barkley had this. I don't know if you know him. He's in the synthesizer school. He was on the podcast as well, and a lot of it is just caring about what other people think of you. And I had it a bit as well, but I don't think to the same extreme. But how would you say to anyone, or like maybe to your younger self, how do you get out of that basically?
Uh, Unfortunately, we were raised in days or in a place where we had these false ideas that you only talk with a shrink if you're a crazy person, and you only share your emotions if you are a child or a woman. But for a grown man, you stick it up and suck it up, I mean,
Yeah.
and be a man and power through your issues. And that was what I was trying to do, and it was clearly not working. So when you feel lost or stuck in life, I think one of the most important things that you can do is to ask for help. And help could be so many different things. You can ask for advice from a friend. You can ask someone who you trust or you respect, and you tell him, "This is my situation. I'm struggling in this way or of that way. What can you help me?" If you don't want to do that, if you don't have someone like that in your life, you can ask the internet. And that was exactly what I did. I asked the internet for help, and the internet just gave me all the wisdom and all the advice that I needed.
Well, yeah.
So asking for help is not a bad thing. If you're a man, a grown man, you are 40, 50, 60 years old, asking for help is the best way you can do uh, to change the way you look at things. Because however you're gonna try to fix your problem, it's you're still functioning with the same tools and the same ideas that you already had that created the problem in the first place. So getting help from another person or from the internet or from the outside, it will give you a new lens to look at things, and this will help so much in so many cases.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like a lot of people think like asking for help is kind of like weak, maybe. But if you just look at it like
Exactly.
you're learning something new that will help you solve a problem, it doesn't have to be in a room with like someone and just like tell me how sad you feel. Like, yeah, I think the internet's a really good way because I think you said was it you literally just went to Google search and searched how to get out of depression.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think people don't even realize like how powerful it is. You can go on you go online and search how to get rich, and there's actually like so much information out there, like, and people don't even look. It's like how to lose weight. I mean, okay, yeah, there's some information which is not like really that good, but it's a place to start. And if people are listening, I know, well, they can ask me. You can reach out to me if you need someone to talk to, or I'm sure Obai would be willing as well because he's been
I
through
would
it.
love to.
Oh,
You seem like a well-known person who ahead of his age in light years. So I would really love to stay connected with you.
sure, no problem. But I was just saying for anyone listening who might be struggling, they can speak to either of us. We might be able to give you some advice.
Uh, yes, I would love that too. This is one of the main reason for me to do this whole content creation journey is to try to help people as much as I can. I can help people in my inner circle by talking to them, but what if someone like me wanted to find a solution for his problem, and I already went through that problem and I found the solution through another person on YouTube. But my way of expressing my problem and my story could resonate with that guy who lives like 1,000 miles away. But what I say could really change lots of his in his life, and I didn't even know it. So this is One of the reasons also I put my social media accounts in my YouTube video. I put my email, I put my
Mm.
Twitter, I put my Instagram account. If anyone can resonate with my story, or if anyone has the same problems that I had and I already fixed it somehow and he wants to contact me, I will be very, very, very happy to talk to him and to not coach him because I'm not a coach. I will share the things I that help me. I will share the other channels that really benefits me in my journey, and he can be starting on his journey too. So that would be a great idea that you mentioned that now.
Yeah. What do you mean, like, you're not a coach? Do you not like the word coach?
No, but I think coach, you need to have a certificate or you need to have a professional training to be a coach. I can have a conversation with you, but I cannot coach you because I don't think I'm a professional enough to do that.
Wait, I don't know. Is
I
that?
might give you I might give you some bad advice. I don't have know how to coach people. I know how to mention my problems and how I solve them. And this might resonate with another person and say, "Oh, I have the same problem. Okay, let me try what Ubay did, and maybe it will help me too."
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I don't know. I know a lot of coaches who are like professional, or not loads of them, but like have still given out bad advice. I don't know. Maybe that's a limiting thing. I'm not a coach, like we were talking about earlier. I don't do this. I don't
Mhm.
do this. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah, maybe that too. Yeah. But when you say I'm a coach, people usually say, "Where is your certificate, dude? Where did you go? Where did you train?"
Maybe if you've helped a few people first, then you can be a coach because you've got some like proof. But yeah, it is kind
Credibility.
of take it or
Yeah.
leave it. It's not like this is definitely gonna work. It's like this is what I did, and you can try it if you want. It helped me. If you don't want to do it, then that's fine. It might not work for you. Yeah. Okay.
And
So.
I remember when I did that Google search on how to get out of depression, and I started reading all these articles and watching all these YouTube videos, there was lots of advice and so many different things people would say. Some of them didn't even make sense to me. Some of them I didn't even understand.
Okay.
So you have to talk on the same level with the person you're talking to. Some people have very complicated issues that needs really professionals who knows about things, and some people will have a common issues that lots of other people had already uh, solved these things and have very clear solution for these problems.
Okay. Do you think like the reason you had depression, or did you get like officially diagnosed?
Uh, I went to a friend who's a doctor, and he diagnosed me, but nothing really official. And he prescribed me the medicine I was taking. It helped me for a while. I wasn't. I started getting out of bed and started doing things, but it numbed my life. My life was all numb. The happy events were the same as the bad events. Nothing really mattered to me anymore, which worked for a while. It was good for a while because I needed that. I needed to do things even if I not feeling them, but it took the joy out of my life.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like the word gets thrown around quite often these days. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm depressed, and it's like I heard one quote which I thought was interesting. Was like, if your depression goes away on holiday, you're not depressed. You just hate your life. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's a good
exactly.
place for people to start if they're not feeling good. I mean, I don't know if it's like depression or whatever it is, or sadness, but um, just try and make your life better. Because
And especially when you're clinically depressed, it's very hard for you to take actual positive steps, and you really need some sort of external force to influence your change. You cannot do it yourself. But if you're just sad on a good day, you can do some activities that will make you happy. But if you're clinically depressed, even on a good day, you cannot do or function like
yeah,
a normal person.
yeah, I would say I don't really know too much about it, so yeah, I'm sure there are people who are like yeah, they probably do need some external help. But I think quite a few people do just be like, oh, I'm depressed, even though they're not like properly got checked out. They just kind of Oh, I'm too
Yeah, it's a
happy.
word that's been thrown a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sad today. Oh, I'm depressed today. I don't want to go out. It's a word that has lots of meanings these days.
I think some people might use it as a little bit of an excuse, but there definitely are people who do have a real problem. I'm just seeing the timers counting down. I didn't think about this, so we'll keep going. If it cuts out, we'll just do another one, okay?
Okay, no problem.
If you're happy to keep going.
Yes, I am.
um,
Unless you have other things to do, you seemed busy today when we talked earlier.
oh no, it's just I had something in the morning with my school, and I was like, oh, I forgot about this. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to ask you was, what are your plans for the future? Because you've made a transformation from kind of unmotivated, not too happy with your life to you improved your life, you're feeling happier, things seem to be going pretty well. What's the next step?
Ah, okay. Well, I'm in a good place right now in my life. My life is so much better in almost every way. I have overcome the vast majority of the obstacles I was facing. Of course, now I have new obstacles to overcome, but that's
Always.
fine because this is how life works. You face an obstacle, you overcome this obstacle, you learn a lesson or two from that obstacle, then you get a brand new obstacle to deal with, and life goes on. I think for me, uh, my plans for the future. I have lots of plans for the future, but I would really, I have to think about that.
Okay. If it's too broad, let's say what's the plans for the YouTube channel?
Okay, that will be easier to to answer. I hope I will be making so much more videos that what I did. I only have two videos, and I'm only getting started here. The dream is to post a video every 2 to 3 weeks maximum. But that's, I think, gonna take some time because I think I'm still learning the whole process and I do have a busy life still. Surprisingly, uh, the filming part of making
Videos.
the video and being on camera is nerve-wracking to me till now. And I'm really not enjoying that. But the editing part, which even though it takes forever to finish, I'm finding it very fun and enjoyable and creative. But
Yeah.
who knows? I think these things change with time and practice.
Yeah,
So my
definitely.
vision, yeah. So I thought I would be enjoying the filming more, but the filming was very
It
hard to
gets
do. To me.
easier. My old videos are shocking, really are. Like, so nervous and like talking like really like kind of quietly, like basically just reading off a script, and it's not good. But yeah, it gets easier. And I just want to say your videos so far, if anyone's just checked them out, for your like first two videos, they are really good.
Yeah, actually, some people are saying that, and I think they're just being polite and nice.
No, no, I
But
don't think
I'm
so. Like, if you see some of the people, um, other people's first videos, they really are like, because your audio's good, the video's good, the editing's pretty decent. You have like decent looking thumbnails. Like a lot of people at the beginning, like they don't have that at all, really.
Well, I've been planning this for years now, and I've been thinking about it, but I didn't have the courage to do that. So now when I did it, I have lots of information about the subject. It's just the practice what's lacking so far.
Just need to iterate now. So you want to do a video every 2 to 3 weeks
I
maximum.
hope so. Yeah. And my vision for the channel and the whole reason I'm doing that, as I told you, is to try to help someone in the same way all these amazing YouTubers has helped me by translating what I have learned and practiced into a fun, entertaining piece of content that will deliver the information or the message across to whoever might need it and can use it to enhance his life in any possible way. So that's the mission, and I don't have a clear plan of how I'm gonna do that, but I have so many ideas for different YouTube videos. So I'm gonna start playing with that and seeing what actually sticks with people and they're interested with.
Yeah, get to work. Are you
Yeah,
working on one now?
lots of work. Hmm?
Are you working on a video now?
Uh, I'm thinking about what should I do, but no, I didn't start even writing the script or the headlines that
Alright.
I'm gonna do.
You should get that done. Will you come to the
Yes.
accountability calls anytime in the
Yeah, what's that about? I read that in the school, but I don't know what do they do exactly there.
just a bunch of us like kind of talk about the progress we made in the week, and we also do help
Hmm.
people with their problems. And last week we were talking about like AI and stuff and how that's gonna change. It is really cool. We get to meet a bunch of there's a bunch of awesome people there, so highly
So it's
recommend.
once a week
Yeah,
for how long?
it's usually around an hour. It's in the time is in the calendar
Mhm.
on the school group.
That actually a scary idea is when you join the group, then you have to do the work. You cannot say, "Oh, I will do it," but then you
It's
but
it's no,
then
it's
crash
really
on it.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it will be effective.
we've had a lot of people who were like scared to post their first video and basically kind of pressured them into into doing it almost. Um, no, but
I
it
think
is really
posting the
good.
first video is an experience that you will never forget. Like I still remember that it was at night and I already finished the video like 2 days ago, but I was too scared to publish it. And when I hit click on publish, uh, my anxieties were up to the roof.
Yeah,
Once I hit click and I sat on the sofa, I was sweating even, and like everything was, oh, finally I did it. Now I'm out to the world.
yeah. And I don't know if did your
Do you
fam.
remember your first video that you published?
Oh yeah, and I was still in.
Is it that vivid of a memory in your head still?
Yeah, I know. I remember I was very nervous. I think it was possibly particularly worse for me because I don't know worse, but I was still in school, and it was that point. It was kind of almost at the point where like people get like kind of judgmental. I find from like 13 to 15 or whatever, because everyone's kind of like changing a lot, and it's just like, oh my god, yeah. Had some people like making comments and stuff, but it's fine. You got.
Interesting. So when you're younger, it's also hard because I thought for younger people it's easy because everybody likes YouTube and these things. But for older folks like me, they will see like, what are you doing a YouTube video for? You you already have your career, you already have a family, you already have like you're too old to do that. So
Mm.
even for you as younger people, it's also hard. Like
Yes.
the
Oh yeah.
judgment.
Some people are brutal. Like, because I think, like you said, yeah, everyone does like YouTube, but when you're like posting your first ever video, and it's obviously not going to be like amazing.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't
It's,
too like. There were some people, to be fair, who were like, "Oh, I respect it" or whatever, and I do remember those people. I've got like a list. I'm pretty sure of the people who supported me from early on, so that might be coming out
yeah.
in a few years. But yeah, like some people just, I think it's just because they're insecure themselves, really. That's where it all comes from. But I didn't let that bother me, and I just pushed through that. And now it's gets to the point where it's like we were saying earlier, the most important conversation is one you have with yourself. And I was just like, I don't need them all to like it. I'm still gonna do it.
That's the attitude. And you're right. I think the people who make negative comments about this type of things, it's like because they don't even imagine themselves doing anything like that.
Yeah,
So they will project their fears and their limitations on you.
100%. I want to know now, like, were there any like key resources or like, so I'm talking like books, like videos that really influenced your change? Is there anyone who like really stands out? I know you talk about Matt Diavella with the minimalism.
Actually, Andrew Kirby is one of the people who helped me a lot. when I started reading about Stoicism and dopamine
Mm,
detox and all these things. He really uh, helped me a lot in my journey, and I will be forever grateful for him and
same.
for Madhu Bala. Ali Abdal was also very useful to my way of learning. He taught me how to learn or how to research anything that I wanna have more knowledge about. Uh, I don't remember names now, but these three guys mostly in the beginning. No, Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins and all these big people. Of course, they were they had a huge impact on me. Social media in general. I know people like to blame social media these days for everything wrong
Mm,
happening in the world. And of course, yeah, it does have a dark side and it can destroy or ruin some people's life. But that actually applies to anything else in life. If you have a knife, you can use it to hurt someone, or you can use it to cut some fruits and vegetables and eat healthy. So social media for me is only a tool.
mm,
How you choose it, how you choose to use it makes all the difference. Before uh, I embarked on my journey, I used to only watch fun videos, fun YouTube videos like pranks, games, social experiments, traveling vlogs, which are fine. They are not evil again, but also didn't really add or teach me anything. It just entertained me when I'm bored and wasted my time. It was like an escape for me to watch these fun videos and to watch these people doing stuff that I don't even think about doing, but I will forget about my troubles and my daily issues for some moments. Once I started following the right people on social media, that was a game changer for me. I remember getting hooked on watching, I remember that now. I remember getting hooked on watching YouTube video series. I don't remember that channel, but the title of the series, it's called Advice from the Most Successful People in the World or something like that. Usually it's like a 20 to 30 minutes videos. This is in the first year of my transformation. And they have like 3 or 4 different famous or successful guests, and they will talk about important things they learned and apply to their life, which they consider a key to achieve success, happiness, growth in general. And many of these people had ideas that made me go like, wow, that makes so much sense. Or like, how the heck did I not know about this? I'm 35 years old and this is the first time I'm hearing about this. Or sometimes the words being said felt to me like this guy is talking to me. He knows
mm,
me. He knows what I'm going through right now. His or her advice feels so personal and tailored to my problems. And there is so many people like that. The idea is who you click with. They're
mm.
all great people, but sometimes you like the way someone delivers the information. Sometimes you feel bored or you feel like he's too aggressive to me. So when I started following some of these people, that led me to discover other people whom I liked and I admired and started listening to what they have to teach me. The funny thing is that YouTube algorithm quickly started recommending
Yes.
more and more of that type of videos to me. And before I know it, I was surrounded by wisdom and good advice. And that made it so much easier for me to acquire all the knowledge I needed to transform my life.
Exactly the same thing basically happened to me. I used to be, I think I pretty much was addicted to gaming, to be honest, looking back now. I wouldn't have said, if you told me I was, I'm like, no, 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 I'm not. But yeah, all my social media feeds, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, was all just like kind of similar to you, but more kind of gaming stuff than pranks. And it was everywhere, like it was all of it. And this is what I made a post about this on my investing account on Instagram, and I think it's my most like biggest post, and it was saying about like kind of how to, I call it like hacking your algorithms, because the algorithm isn't
Mhm.
necessarily bad, it can work in your favor. So when I kind of got into this self-improvement thing, I went through and I completely like cleansed the algorithm. So there's on YouTube and on Instagram, there's if you tap, I think it's like 3 dots or something, or whatever, 3 lines, and you press like don't recommend, not interested, and I just did this. I went through every time there was like a gaming thing, and I did it for like, I don't know how much. I think I did any time I went on YouTube and I saw one, I did it. So then eventually, like you said, I could not go on social media without seeing, like, it was mostly motivation stuff, stoicism, self-improvement, fitness, or like business, and that was every single post. Like, I couldn't get away from it. So I don't think people really realize how powerful that is, like how you design your environment. Like, if you have junk food sitting on the side, you're going to eat it probably. If you don't have it there, it can't tempt you, you know. It's the same thing. So even if I was procrastinating going on social media, the stuff I was watching was still somewhat beneficial, you know. So I think that is really, really powerful tool for anyone who's listening, who's like, oh, I'm not where I want to be. Like, find the people who have done what you want to do and go and learn from them. Because that's the thing, there's people online, there's like millionaires, there's like really fit people, they put out stuff for free telling you how to do it. And if you know that and you don't go and look for it, I think you're kind of dumb, to be honest. Like, I'm telling you, it's there. Just go and search what your problem is, how to do this, and just follow all those people and get rid of all the other junk and just look at that, and then there you go. I mean, obviously you have to take the action and it takes time, but that's the first step, I think, is just surround yourself with this stuff.
That's the problem, is it takes time. Progress takes time. Change and transformation takes time. And people these days, they want to be fixed immediately. Like my journey that I talked about, it took like 7 years for me to transform from that guy to this guy. So if I did this for like 2-3 months and it didn't work out and I didn't see results and I quit, then I would be at the same place that I was to be. So take your time. It's fine. Things takes time, especially good things and hard things and things that deserve to be in your life. It always takes time. And this is what lots of people don't understand. They will go to the gym for a full week of exercise and they will look in the mirror and they look exactly the same. Yeah, where is my bicep? I still have the same belly? And he would quit. He would say, I tried. I went to the gym so many times. And you would ask him, for how long? He would say, I went like for 2 weeks. Like you became this big because you've been eating wrong for 10 years and now you want to undo all that in 2 weeks. That doesn't even make sense. But people still think that way. I still think that way. Sometimes when I start learning something like the editing the videos, and this is too hard, this is taking too much time. It took me like 2 weeks to edit that one video, which is like 12 minutes long. So just getting used to the idea of it takes time. If you do that, this will help you in so many other ways in your life.
Yeah.
I think this is very important what you said. It takes time.
Yes, I agree. But I don't think that's just a reason to not try and look. Just because it takes time doesn't mean you shouldn't try and speed it up. But yes, there's not always going to be a shortcut that's instantly going to get you what you want. Oh, you said something. What was I going to say? I hate this.
I wanted to ask you something about also a post that you put, that your podcast now is one of the 1%. I didn't read it, so I don't understand how that works. How is it from the 1% podcast of all the world?
Sure. So it's kind of a bit cheeky, to be honest, because the thing is that there's a statistic that like 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3, and of the
3?
Yeah.
So only 3 episodes and they will quit?
Yeah, that 90%, and then if of the 10% that's left, 90% of them quit by episode 20. So the thing is, if you have more than 20 episodes, you're technically in the top 1%. But
really?
like, it doesn't really. I was talking to this with my brother, how it's kind of a bit cheeky, because if it was like of all the active podcasts, because a lot of dead podcasts out there on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, they have like a couple of episodes, and then you just see I haven't posted any. Even I think Andrew Kirby, to be honest, might be in that category, because I asked him like, when's the next podcast coming, and he said it's not a priority right now or something. He's like, yes, you're kind of pressuring me here to do it or whatever. But I think people think it's cool. It feels like a lot of people are starting podcasts now. They're kind of gone more mainstream. So I mean, same with anything really. You have loads of people flooding in, and a lot of people aren't. I think they have like a glamorized view. They're not willing to actually do it.
Yeah, I think it's not about how many people are doing it, but how many people are continuing doing it, even if they didn't find the influence that they think they're gonna have from the podcast number 5 or 6. But you say like 90% they quit after number 3, and this says something.
Yeah. So it's kind of a bit of a fun thing, I like to say. I have a top 1% podcast, but you know.
No, that you should be proud of that. What is this podcast number, the one we're doing right now?
This will probably be 31, I think.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah. Still going strong.
So you have did 31 podcasts so far.
Well, I think I'm actually recording another one, but that's probably going to come out before now. Because it's to do with December. So I'm trying to do it as close to December as possible. But yes, I'll explain it quickly now. So do you know that me and a bunch of guys are doing like Discomfort December? Have you heard this?
Yeah, I heard this from your video. There's one video you said Discomfort December. Yeah.
So
what's that about?
So during December, instead of having like a chocolate advent calendar, each day someone comes up with a challenge, and then it's uncomfortable, and then we all have to make a video about it and upload it. So
what kind of actions?
All sorts of things. We had an ice bath. One of them was
that's cool.
Eat a raw onion. That was pretty bad. Sleep on the floor. Sing a song in public.
Oh, that's scary.
Go in a lake or like river. And this was in December, okay, so it was really cold.
The freezing cold.
There was quite a few cold ones actually. What else was there? I'm trying to think of ones that like really stand out. One of them was eat some raw meat, which was probably a bit dangerous. I'm pretty sure some people got sick from that. So shout out to Raphael for coming out with that one. Yeah, but that will be out. You will see. But yeah, I have a bunch of YouTube shorts on my fitness channel. You can watch them all. They're all uploaded now. So you said it took you 7 years to do this transformation. I was just going to say that like mine's been, I guess, quicker than that, obviously, because if mine was 7, I would be like 10 or something when I started. But I think I started when I was like 13 or 14. But I think the reason why is because I was still young. I didn't have like really set patterns, and like compared to you, and I was still a child, so it's not like I really could go out and buy junk food every day. My parents were like, no. So you know, it was kind of, I probably had it easier, and I'm really glad I started early. But I actually think, yeah, it wasn't like crazy fast, but I feel like it actually did feel quite fast to me. Some of the stuff, it kind of depends, because some of the content I've read it and it just completely blew my mind, and in that like 1 second of reading it, my whole view changed. Whereas say like going to the gym, like yeah, I've been working out quite a lot, and that has taken like time to see the progress. But yeah,
but I think in the case when you do it early, it's so much easier, because you didn't start with your bad habits, but when you do it earlier in life, you have so much to unlearn again and undo all the bad things that you've been doing and all the bad habits that you acquire over the years. So for me, 7 years, it's not a full 7 years, but since I started my journey till the time that I started thinking to myself, well, I kind of like the person I am now, because before I genuinely hated myself, but
Wow.
now when I like the person I have become and my habits and the way I interact with the whole universe, not just the people, I kind of respect that guy. I like that guy. And so I think it took me 6 to 7 years to finally liking myself. And it didn't come because like what they call it, narcissist. Oh, I like myself. No, it became like my actions actually reflect a good person.
Mm.
And I know that what I feel inside is also what I present to the people, and my actions are in line with my intentions and my beliefs. And that takes a longer time when your actions and your beliefs has been totally different for a long time of your life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think so. For anyone listening, if you're trying to, if you want to improve your life, if you're not happy with where you are, basically you should start today, here and
Mhm.
now, because basically from what we've said, like if you just keep going with bad habits, it's not going to get any easier. It's actually going to get harder. And
Exactly, and it doesn't have to be 6 years for you. It could be taking 6 months. Everybody's journey is different. You could be smarter than me. You can learn faster than me. I am a slow person. I always say that, and that's one of the limitations you were talking about.
yeah,
I love to learn, but I learn slower than usual people. My progress is slower. So you could be better than me, and you can achieve more than what I have achieved in so much less time. But the more you let yourself go, the more you continue walking a path that is not yours, and you know you're doing the things that you're not supposed to do. Everybody knows when he does something if he's supposed to do it or not. Even if he have the excuses, yes, I'm going out of with my friends and I'm not studying because yeah, the exam is like next week. But there is always that voice in the back of your head that's saying you're not supposed to do this, or you are supposed to do this right now but you're too afraid to do it.
mm,
If you The earlier you start listening to that voice and the earlier you start correcting your path, the easier it's going to be for you and the faster you're going to transform your life.
you always have a choice. I think that's a really, really key thing. Oh, it's from Stoicism. It's like Epictetus was this slave, and he even said you always have a choice. Even when he was chained up, like
Mhm.
you still have the choice of your mindset. You can either feel sorry for yourself, or you can be thinking of how you're going to get out of the situation. So you might say, "Oh, I should do this," or "I don't like the word should or have to or must." I really try and not use those words because I feel like I don't think anyone is compelled to do anything because people, "Oh, I've always done this, so I should do it." It's like, no, you don't have to. You have to realize you're choosing to continue doing this. Because if you say, "Oh, I should do it," you're basically saying it's not your fault, and like you're basically giving away the power.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas you're choosing whether you want to do it or not, and that is your choice. And you need to, and if you make a choice, and that's fine, but you just need to recognize that you don't have to do that. You don't have to keep doing what you've been doing just because someone tells you you have to do this. You can choose not to, and that's the same for basically everything. What was I going to say? Something else. Yeah, you were saying how it might take longer or whatever, and I think the thing that's important is this isn't this isn't really a thing, and you get there. Like, I say, oh, it took me like 3 years or whatever. I'm not done. Like, I'm still improving, learning, like trying to get better at stuff. I'm sure you are as well. Like,
You're never done. You're always a work in progress. But when you get to the point that you're actually enjoying what you're doing, that makes a huge difference. That will
mm,
keep you going further and further.
yeah. So that's just a thing
So
I wanted to make, like that point, because some people might hear this, but oh, 7 years, really, 7 years of doing all this stuff, and it's like, no, it's just you start today and you just make your life
yeah,
better, and you keep doing that forever. Like, why not? You know, I mean, we've got one life from what we know, so you might as well make it the best you
and
can and start
and
today.
it wasn't like in a prison. I was 7 years doing my time and just locking myself in my room and learning all these things. It wasn't like that. I was living my life. I was dealing with everything I was dealing with. But every day, and instead of wasting like 30 minutes on YouTube for something stupid or just funny, I would watch something and it will give me a new idea, one new idea today. I was thinking about tomorrow, instead of sleeping late, I would sleep little early. Doing very small things.
Small.
It's not a huge transformation at once. It's small steps and very teeny tiny things that you change. It's like what they say in the Atomic Habits
Yes.
book. It's atomic. It's very small. You don't even feel it. If you do it today, it will change nothing in your life. But you do it today, you do it tomorrow, you do it the day after that, and all of a sudden you realize, well, I'm a totally different person than what I was like last year or at the beginning of the year. I
Mm.
wanted to ask you in that video that you put for the pictures every day.
Yeah.
When you look at the first picture of the beginning of the year, do you think this is kind of an old version of me, like I'm so much better, or I had so much more knowledge, or have a stronger body, or something like that? Do you think like, uh, well, that's an old version of me. That's not me anymore.
Version 1.0.
Or,
I don't know.
or is it too short of a time to have a
That's
big
the thing.
transformation?
Oh, are we echoing? No, we're good. Okay, no, he is definitely different
Hmm.
because if you told him some of the things that I've done
Hmm.
since, I mean,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be like that's impossible, but he probably would be like that's cool.
Impressed.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, you did that actually.
So, yes, definitely different, but I think if you go back more to when I was 13 or 14 and you show them me now, they probably would be pretty like, boom. Yeah, because
Exactly.
it's been a good year. Yeah. So yeah, I think having Andrew Kirby on the podcast was like a pretty big thing because
Yeah,
I asked
yeah,
him
that
once
was
and he said
on my
no,
list.
like I'm not doing podcasts right now. And then
Mhm.
I was in one of those calls and Victor, who's like his I guess right hand man, his like COO, Chief Operations Officer, was like, "Oh yeah, Andrew's been listening to your podcast and he likes it." I was like, "That's cool." I was like, "Damn!" And then he messaged me like out like randomly like, "Oh, I want to do a podcast." I was like, "Let's go," and that really kind of I think opened the door because then you can kind of leverage that. Say, "Oh yeah, Andrew Kirby's been on my podcast," and I can go and ask other people, you know. So I feel
I
like
was very happy when I saw that. I was like, yes, Owen has made it. He has Andrew Kirby on his podcast.
yeah.
I was so proud of you.
Thank you, man. That was kind of, like yeah, but now it's happened. It's kind of like I kind of thought it might happen eventually, but it was kind of the way it happened was weird because I was like, oh, I think he might say yes. So I asked him, and then he said no, and it's like, dude, and then he comes back and says yes, and it's like, yes. So, um, yeah,
Well, that's what one thing I noticed about trying to make a difference is you get lots of no's in life and you get lots of rejection. So you have to learn how to deal with that. I used to be the guy who, when he get a rejection, I would crawl in my bed and cry, sometimes literally. But once you do it more and more, okay, another rejection. Let's see how we can change this or enhance the offer for this guy. Maybe he will accept the next time.
mm,
This is one of the things that all the successful people will face is
fail.
rejection,
Yeah,
is something failure and rejection is something you have to face to get to the successful part of the
definitely.
equation.
And fail fast is another thing. People are scared of failing. Like a lot of things, like I think the most successful people is just try stuff, just go, 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 and every time it fails, you want to actually look and see like, why do I think that failed? Don't just fail and then just be sad and then move on because there's a lesson there. Um, but yeah, failing fast because that's where you learn the most. Because I think if you're failing, that means you're pushing yourself. Where if you're achieving everything that you set out to do, you probably need a bigger goal because you don't want to be aiming too small. Like we were saying earlier, if you aim too big, then you might not be confident. But if you've already got a bit of momentum and confidence in yourself, and you're feeling quite like happy, you know you can do things. You should probably start aiming bigger and bigger and bigger. And sometimes you will fall a little short, but they say it's like better to aim big and miss and be a little bit lower down, then aim small and hit, you know? It's like you're,
Because when if you success every time, yeah, of course. If you succeed every time you try, then what are you really learning? Failure always gives you a lesson. Success gives you the motivation to go on and to celebrate. But failure, where the real lessons comes and where the you can learn something new that you can enhance yourself with. If you succeed every time, then you exactly what you said. Then you're not trying enough. Your goals are not high enough.
but then again, you don't want to be failing at everything. So you got to
Yeah.
adjust. But yeah, failure should not be avoided. I think it should actually be embraced. It's very important, I think, from what I've learned anyway. Just seeing if I've got anything else to ask here. Yeah, what habits would you say were like the most key in your transformation? Because you talked about Atomic Habits, the book, which I think is very good. But what specific ones did you implement?
What habits, like physical habits or mindset kind of shifts?
More like in your daily routine.
Well, in my daily routine,
So did you start like
I
reading, watching videos, like meditating, exercise, all this stuff?
well, I did all that, but later in my journey. But the interesting thing, when I was reading all these articles in the beginning and trying to figure out what should I do first, uh, and I read something in common between all of them. All of them mentioned two things. If you do these two things, and they were kind of things that everybody knows how to do. They're not like uh, gratitude journaling and all these fancy words that you don't really know what it is unless you do it. So all of the YouTube videos and all of the articles mentioned exercise and eating healthy.
Mm.
And I think even if your goal is has nothing to do with fitness, if you do those two things in the beginning, they will affect everything else in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I started going to the gym whenever I could, and in the times where I couldn't go, I promised myself to do any sort of exercise that day,
Do some
every day.
push-ups.
Yeah, even if it was like 10 minutes of push-ups and jump ropes and things like that. And for the second part of the equation, at the same time, I started learning about nutrition, what's really healthy to eat and what's not. And to my big surprise, in less than 2 months of doing that, only that, not didn't do anything else, I started feeling less miserable. I
Mm.
didn't magically cure my depression or fix my life issues, but I noticed that when I'm coming back from the gym, most of the time I feel less miserable
Yeah,
compared to when I was on my way to the gym.
I don't.
So I started making little experiments on the subject, like when I'm feeling very low and I'm just to start my activity of exercising, I would ask myself, okay, from 1 to 10, how bad do I really feel right now? And I would answer like 9. Then after I finish, I would force myself to ask the same question again. And every time my answer will be, if I was being honest with myself, it will be less. Like
Yeah,
it will be like 8 or 8.5.
I think a lot of people don't realize how connected like physical and mental is, because at the lowest level, like mental is just things going around in your head like chemicals, right? So that kind of is physical. So yeah, diet and exercise can go massive
Diet and
levers.
exercise will take you far in your journey, whatever your goal is, even if it has nothing to do with being fit and you have no desire of having a six pack. If you eat well, if you have some sort of activity in your day, your life is gonna improve,
Yeah,
and you're gonna be having more chances and more energy to achieve whatever you are trying to achieve in your day.
that's yeah, because I totally see that in myself, because that was the first thing I was doing, was working out. Really was the first thing that in my journey. It says we have less than 1 minute, so I think we're going to wrap it up here if that's all right.
Okay.
It's been great to speak to you, man. I hope to
Yeah, me too.
see
I
you
really
again.
enjoyed the whole thing.
Hopefully at
Me
some of
too.
those other calls. But yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of gems in here which can certainly help people out. So quick plug. I'll put your YouTube in the description of this. Anything else? Do you want me to put your Instagram and stuff or?
Yeah, whatever you put, it will be fun. And I'm very happy that I met you finally. I look up to you, even though you're so much younger than me. But
Thank
I
you.
believe that the people like you who have the real effect in this world today, and you are making a difference. And I will remind you later in life when you make it big and you. Hello, we were out of time.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to go that long. I thought I'm gonna be like so nervous and tell you, okay, I have to go now.
no, I
So
usually use Google Meet, and I forgot that Zoom has a time limit.
mhm.
Anyway, yeah. So what were we saying?
I really enjoyed this conversation, and
Yeah.
uh, I really loved our time. I thought I'm gonna be saying goodbye very soon, but now I think it's been like 2 hours or something we were talking, and I really feel like I'm talking to a friend here.
Hour and a
And
half about, yeah. No, it is, man. It's funny because um I've had people say that before, like, oh, they're like maybe a little bit nervous, but like it's just talking. Like once you get into it, you kind of like we both kind of open up and like, just talk, and then it's just recorded. It's not like I don't really try and make it like a super harsh interview. It's more like yeah, we're just chatting basically. But
no, you're a very good host, and I expect you're gonna go to very high places in life.
thanks, man. I'm trying. um But yeah, like I said, YouTube will be in the description. I'll put your Instagram and Twitter as well if you want. I don't know. Do we want? Yeah, sure, we can do that. But YouTube is the main place you put in your videos, right?
Yes,
And
I will.
then if anyone wants to reach out to us, either of us, you can do that. Um,
Mhm.
I guess thanks for listening, everybody, and leave us a review. Thanks for being here, man. It was great to speak to you. You seem super like positive. I feel like I could speak to you for hours and hours. Um,
Thank you for having me, and sorry, excuse me for my bad English.
it was good. It was good. Sometimes you paused a little bit, but no, it was good. It was good. Your English, yeah, that's the thing. Another thing I found from being online is a lot of people are like who aren't native English speakers, like, oh, sorry for my English. It's like you have good English. Stop saying that.
Well, when you talk to a native speaker, you always feel intimidated.
Better than my
So
Arabic, mate. I was just wondering,
I think so.
one more thing, like, where are you, like, country-wise?
Oh, the questions, where are you from?
Yeah,
Uh,
roughly. You don't have to
well,
like give your address.
well, for now, I would answer this question with I'm a citizen of the world.
Okay,
I don't prefer to reveal like anyone cares where I'm from because it
sure.
really doesn't matter that much. I would really like people to like me or follow me from what I say or how I present myself.
That's a good answer.
So
Yeah.
at this point, it's kind of a secret. What I wanted to say is I strongly disagree with the idea of the people who judge stereotype people and events according to what other people say about them. Like American people do this, Asian people
Mm-hmm.
is like that. And I strongly disagree with this idea. And I've never cared about the origin of any of the people who influenced me or inspired me on the internet.
Yeah.
Unless they mention this information, I've never looked them up or Googled them. Nationality, religion, political views, all these things are irrelevant in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be
So
like. I'm not gonna judge you for wherever you're from. I was just interested because yeah.
no, I know you won't, but some people will say, "Oh, he's from that country. I had an experience in this country or
Yeah.
that country or that."
Yeah. It is a shame. You can definitely learn stuff from everyone, and obviously people are different. I mean, yeah. Uh.
Yeah, like what I say and what I do, how I treat you, and what my words and actions reveal about me. This is, I think, what actually matters.
Yeah. Okay. This has been like the longest outro ever. We
Oh
kind
my,
of got.
oh, this is all an outro. I thought we were just talking now. I thought we finished that already.
Oh no, I'm still recording.
Okay.
I can cut this
Okay.
out, whatever. But yeah, we got a bit sidetracked.
Do
But
whatever you like. You see.
thanks for being here, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank,
Have a good day.
thank you for having me and have a wonderful day, Owen.
Goodbye,
Bye
Obey.
bye.